Dalton Drone and Discovery Zone is at the Reading Railroad Heritage Museum today. Want to ring the bell there? Oh, and the handle on the side on the right. From a real steam engine, huh? There's a Crusader, my son's favorite train. Fortunately, there are none in existence anymore as far as the real engine goes. They scrapped them all. There's only a few of them ever in existence. It looks like an O-gauge model there. As you probably know, we're dedicated to the Reading Railroad. So 99% of the things that you're going to see out here are formerly operated on the Reading Railroad. A lot of projects are in the works. Some of them haven't been touched for a number of years, so we have a pretty good variety of conditions. First thing we're going to look at is the GP7 diesel. This one down here, we'll work our way down there. This diesel engine is part of the first generation of diesels that replaced the steam engine. And one of the things you'll take notice to is that they actually labeled the front and the back. Notice the F1, that's the front, and usually it's a number 2 or an R on the back. If you recall, most of the steam engines operated with the cab behind the boiler, and this engine is set up the same way. The engine's out front, the generator and all that, the cab's in the back. As the diesel engines evolved and they needed better visibility for the people on the ground, eventually switched around and the cab became the front of the engine. Also, around this time, we'll notice that the horsepower is very low by today's standards. These guys are 1,000 horsepower, and the fuel tanks are a smaller size, of course, to match the size of the engine. So if you don't know anything about diesel engines or diesel train engines, there's no mechanical connection between the engine and the wheels. They are a generator. They generate power. Power is put through the controls, routed to motors on each wheel axle, and that's how the train operates. Is one that we're particularly proud of. It was formerly one of the president's cars on the Reading Railroad. It was retired back in the 80s, I guess, and sold to a private owner who traveled the country with it. His best friend was Henry E. Huntington. That had nothing to do with the Reading Railroad. That happened to be the guy's best friend. And so he named the car after him. If you look up that name, you'll find that he was a very wealthy Wall Street financier. But this car, again, is not open, but it will be on that special event in September if you want to come back and get a look at it. We've been working it over, looking at the electrical controls. You can see Kevin has the battery box open, working on the batteries. Did you want to do a tour? Did you want to do a tour?
If you just want to come in, we can take them in groups of two, but a little something for you. We try to disconnect the battery and I snapped both the cables so I can't.
Uh-oh.
Yep, so we're going to have to replace the cables and all that stuff. Didn't even get to use it. Yep, just snapped it right off.
What's breaking the bolt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's no problem.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. It's just something else.
Yeah. Part of the fun.
Yep, so I didn't even get to clean it.
Sorry.
That's okay.
You got the corrosion on those batteries there.
What we'll do is we'll get everybody in here now and explain what this is.
Wow, look at this.
It has the wow factor.
Yes, it does.
This mahogany is from when the car was built in 1924.
Nicer than
It
my
is
living
original.
room.
2 years before my time.
Just a few.
Yeah.
It was refurbished once around 2000. They just did refinishing. But this car, what makes this car very unique amongst cars that have been preserved is this is pretty much the way that it was built. The interior layout, the staterooms, the only thing that's really been updated is the pantry and the kitchen and the water system. But it even has its own washer and dryer, dishwasher, range, grill, oven, everything you need. This first room that's rather small is the secretary's room.
Yeah, what? Is that a move down?
No, it's not going to move.
Oh, that's a way to
We just make it. Wow. There's 2 beds in here. One was for the secretary and the other one was for the chef. Actually, the other one was for the porter. All male. No canoodling going on. No. That one was relatively small.
Had to ask.
This is the first stateroom. It's on the other side. It's the same size. It's at the last. And they have a common shower.
That's a bathroom.
So you have your own shower.
2 beds.
And this has space for 4 if necessary. I'm gonna let the others go. I think the big room up there is going to kind of be self-explanatory. So come on through. Let me go first. This is one of the major staterooms.
Oh. And this is a stateroom. Oh, it does have a shower.
That is a shower.
Okay.
Yeah, it is shared with the other side,
Okay.
which was typical for these cars. There is a common shower for, shall we say, the hired help.
Yes.
Back in the last room, which was for the chef and the mechanic. There's a mechanic that always traveled with this car.
Okay.
In case something went wrong with it, that he could do instantaneous repairs unless it was something that was major. But these rooms were painted white because mahogany made them a little bit claustrophobic.
Okay, I would have.
So this makes it a little bit more spacious. If you want to go out to the dining room,
little bathroom there.
yeah, this is a stateroom for the executives. It's got a common shower here. We go up to the dining room.
Good sized dining room.
You go out this way. You go back out this way.
And it was updated with better electrical air conditioning. It goes in 1947. Yeah. South American mahogany. Look hot.
Oh, look at the kitchen. This is the galley, I guess.
We hook between the ceiling and the underside of the day so that you wouldn't fall out. You'd either roll around or there'd be an emergency brake application. Get thrown into the net. So there's netting up there. And then underneath the seat is storage. Crossford running number 10. Those are the only two business cars that were built by Bethlehem Steel. That's the porter's room. That's where the porter, that's where the chef and
I thought my
the
kitchen was
mechanic
small.
slept. And they have their own shower in there. It's like being on a ship. It is. That's the kitchen.
The inside is in pretty good condition on this one, so we're going to go in this one. Caboose opened by spring that we'll be able to move our tours into that caboose and then start overhauling this one. Let's go back to this. Let's see what's on the inside. There you go. Oh, okay. See, the caboose is a pretty diverse piece of equipment, and it served a lot of functions. You can see it was a home away from home. It had bunk beds. It had the stove to cook on. You lost your ticket. I had to throw you off. It was also used as a platform to view the train. The cupola up on each side was where the brakemen sat. They could, as the train went out a curve, they could see a good part of the train. They were always looking for smoke coming from one of the axles that indicate a hot box condition, in which case they would signal the engineer to stop the train and they would do what they needed to do to pull down the axle. It was also the office for the conductor up here in the front. This was his mini office, cubicles and desk. The engineer for a cross-country train would be handed a packet of transfer tickets. They would be a ticket for every car, show what it was, what was in it, its destination, and he would sort those for where they got dropped off and then be ready to pick up more as they stopped at different intermediate points along the way. So, like I said, it served a lot of purposes. These are two different types of hoppers. Both of them would carry about 55 tons of coal. This is called an offset side. You can see that it kind of bulges out, the top is in, and then it bulges out, and then the bottom goes in, and that's why they call it an offset side. And then the older car was the one that had the ribs on the outside to kind of keep the walls from collapsing out for the load. So 1943 versus probably 1955. It's an RS3. It was made by Alco, American Locomotive Company. They were famous for a lot of their steam engines, but they never could quite make the transition to full-blown diesels. They built a number of them. They were semi-successful, and they ended up going bankrupt in the around the same time that Reading did, actually. That one and the first engine that we looked at, the GP7, were built in the same year. They're the same horsepower. They were strict competitors with each other. The first one we looked at was built by General Motors, so basically it's a Chevy.
Very big Chevy.
Yeah, very big Chevy. It was called EMD, which is Electromotive Division of General Motors.